that you trying to do what now?
I said that none of that shit's a problem now. Stupid ass PC. I want it to be temperamental.
Oh, you talking about the audio?
Yeah. I hate that shit. You said you was looking at what?
Nah, I said I was just sitting here looking at this thing, just chilling, just trying to get my brain ready to say whatever it is I'm gonna say.
So what's this piece
no,
called?
what originally I said was I said I hadn't got to talk to Zaylee and Clark in a minute.
Hopefully this summer we'll be able to put something together.
Be able to chop it up with the beef about the Chiefs.
That's you and Zay.
That's crazy. They went from liking thugs with cornrows to liking Patrick Mahomes. Kermit the Frog's voice. This shit gotta stop.
That's
that's the thing into these days. It's crazy.
I'm glad that happened right now so I can put this phone on Do Not Disturb Me. Don't disturb me.
So you can put the what in?
Put my Do Not Disturb on.
Oh. On the phone side?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so then I'm back to the last time I think we was going and somebody popped in. Mid like recording, you like nigga, I didn't even gotta stop.
Yeah, cause this motherfucker not only sends the audio to everything.
Cause everything is connected and shit.
It's the way it comes through the computer. So it just takes all the audio. So then the phone, every time somebody call, beep, whatever. So if somebody calls, then the motherfucker will take the Bluetooth away from the computer and send it to the phone. And that's how I lost you. Then in the middle of you record, you hear bling, bong, wong, shing. Like, God.
Not bling though. Not bling though.
Everything. Well, shit, the floor is yours, baby boy.
Man, I want to say thank you to everybody that's been coming to tune in and, check out my art. Once again, this is Art of a Found Soul. We here, volume 3. I was getting some questions from my cousin Remy. I got to shout her out. She's been asking me a lot of questions about this stuff. Shout out to my Uncle Regis for doing this and my family that's supporting it. All you guys that are pulling up to, check out my message and the things that I'm putting out. First off, one of the questions is any of this stuff from the book that I mentioned in the first series, chapter 1, and nothing that you are hearing is coming from the book. Everything that I'm speaking and giving frame of reference to when it comes to the words that I'm saying, it's inspired by things that people ask me to write about, things that I see going on around me. When you guys listen to this or when you hear this, if you have anything that you would like me to write about or anything you would like me to say, just drop your comments, give, your mentions, and, I'll be sure to, get back at you and, work on it and put it online. But in the process, I'm also, just trying to get people to know who I am as an artist so that when I do drop my book, which is Bound and Blinded in the series is The Forbidden Prince, they're able to see, who I am as a writer. That way, you know what you're getting into when you buy the book. But I'm also, while I'm in here, I work on restorative justice. I teach a class called Restorative Justice that'll be starting up tomorrow. I've been doing that since 2017, and in the midst of that, I run into a lot of brothers who have complicated pasts, who have, gone through things, and one of the brothers asked me to write a piece about his story, and so it's kind of long, so we're going to break it into two different parts, but it's called Little Boy Found. So this is Little Boy Found Part 1, and it goes a little like this. It says, every day for Phoenix is filled with doubt and uncertainty, traumatized with a constant state of confusion, depression, and overwhelming fear. There's never been a time in his existence that he felt good enough. By definition, he has no place to call home. And though some days he finds himself on the brink of death, Phoenix still refuses to defend himself. Because even though he was never graced with loyalty and love, Phoenix's heart could never abandon the woman who gave birth to him. As he wanders the streets at night, there are no guardian angels in sight. Only demons feasting, taking advantage of a wounded heart. See, Phoenix knows his duty, so he fights until he's exhausted. Then he wakes up and he does it all over again. There is no method to his madness, just a soul burdened with scars, too scared to rise from the ashes. A gifted tongue, and if beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, then surely God has missed his son. Phoenix loves women, though he hasn't and wasn't sure of the true meaning. In essence, his infatuation with their beauty could never prepare him to embrace a woman's true divinity. In the ways of affection, Phoenix guards his heart, blinded by PTSD, lost in the mindset of the jaded young man that you see. The police call it a gang, but if you ask Phoenix, these are his brothers. And if you see the guns and the drugs, you have to notice that this is the family who embraced him when he was running. Loyalty means tied in, keep the blood and the watered down relations. By devotion, Phoenix believed that he could make his fallen brothers walk again. The Reaper has always been a distant friend. For Phoenix, he mourns his soul, while he counts the hours by the time in the sand. And that's the end of Lost Boy Found Part 1. Again, I appreciate you guys, checking in and, listening to the story. Again, if you guys have anything that you want to hear, we do this every Sunday. Post your mentions. We're going to do Lost Boy Found Part 2. And you get to see, how his story turns out. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. That's it.
Right.
You say you liked it?
Yeah. I was just like, damn, now I feel like it was an episode of Power. Like, they gave you just enough, but it's like, where's the rest? Like, fuck.
Yeah, man. I ran into this brother and he asked me to write some stuff, and that's what I came up with. He was just telling me about his past. When we do the classes that we do, we have a Vegas rule. We really don't talk about people's experiences and things like that. But I told him I wrote. Told him I like to shed light on people's pain, but also talk about their experience when they come out of it. What it looks like for change and things like that. And he just was like, yeah, man, I definitely like you to write something for me. So I called it Lost Boy Found. That's how I wound up coming out with it. Yeah. I keep forgetting to tell people how to reach me and stuff. That's not I don't know. I feel like that's already up there, whatever. But I definitely wanted to, get it out there that, this wasn't anything from the book. Everything from the book is going to be different. Definitely going to have its own vibe. And I had to shout out Reggie. I talked to her for like an hour on the phone. Just give shout outs to people who get credit due and things like that. But yeah, man, it's definitely enjoying this ride. I'm enjoying doing this, and keeps me busy and keeps me motivated to keep doing the things that I'm doing inside of here, whether it's talking to people or helping people or mentoring people, or because I learned from them experiences. So, yeah. I'm trying to share with everybody, man. I know people out there be going through things, and they be struggling. People are always looking for some type of motivation or a sign that life can be better than what it is. So I just, I feel like if I can do it in here, I can do it out there. So just trying to let this message leak outside of here instead of just being bottled up in this present, where I feel like a lot, but we get lost in the shuffle. We slip through the cracks, and our talent goes away without anybody ever seeing it. So that's where I'm at.
I feel that. How long you been locked down?
Are you still recording me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I've been locked up for 12 years. So since I've been here, I've gone through a million things. I've was a dog trainer for some years. I've been a mentor since I've been here. Been a part of the restorative justice community since 2017. Actually teaching a class since then. The Power of the People, which was ran by Brother Shane Price and created by Dr. Vernon Price. And I've taught that class for a couple of years. I do the orientation for the prison every week. So when guys come in, I'm kind of like the first guy they see, talking about programming, helping guys, to try and find a way to, cope with the time, especially guys who have a lot of time, and even guys who are short time. What programs can you get into? What jobs can help you? What, can be for your family and things like that. Because doing this time takes a toll on you, and being locked up from your loved ones, and not being able to have the resources or just be able to have somebody hug you. Like a lot of these guys, they're struggling. They don't know what to do. They don't. All they know is where they come from. They know what they've been shown. So in the process, most guys don't know what an opportunity looks like. I think the biggest thing that I hear in these meetings when I'm talking to the warden or the captains or the people that are in charge of making these decisions, they believe that it is on you to make a decision.
You have 1 minute remaining.
But when you come from somewhere where all of the decisions are based on what you know and see from your neighborhood, then you don't recognize an opportunity when you see it. So my job is to help guys see that opportunity, help them take advantage of it, and avoid the landmines in the road along the way. And I think I do a pretty good job, but there's still a lot of work to be done. So I appreciate the opportunities, but it's a struggle, it's a battle every day, and I look forward to it because, I used to be there. At one point in time when I came in, I was confused and didn't know what to do, and now that I've matured and grown up and come to a point where I can help people, that's what I do. But yeah, man, I love you, man. I appreciate you doing this. I'm trying to check in with you a little bit later, probably after dinner.
All right, love.
All right, love. Yeah.
Thank you for using GTL.